Hey everybody, this is Tell the Truth Sports Radio. I'm your host, Ron Fish. I'm going to tell you the truth about Terrence Crawford's domination of Errol Spence. And I will want to give you full disclosure. I slightly favor Crawford. I thought it would be a close fight. Maybe late stoppage, going the distance, and he would win. I thought he's a better boxer, but I thought he'd be a moment. Like I said, I thought it'd be one knockdown early, it happened, but I thought he would get Crawford down, and then the fight would be on, and then Crawford, because of his boxing, would be a slightly better. He's a little more slightly better. He was very dominant, and I'm gonna give you reasons why he was dominant. The first two rounds went the way I thought. It was Crawford. It was not really a eventful first round. Second round, they were going back and forth. Crawford was jabbing well, and then Spence was very aggressive. I believe he got knocked down in the second. Came out really coming after him, and I was worried. I was more worried about Crawford because I know Crawford a little better than Spence, so I kind of favored him a little more, even though I love both these guys. And I didn't want to. I wanted to see a fight where I didn't want to see somebody get destroyed and beat up, but it did happen. Once Crawford figured him out, it was it. When Crawford figures you out, it's over. And he figured him out about round three after he countered Spence. And remember, I talked, and Popi Rolon is going to be on. Derek Popi Rolon, former boxer. And we were going over what could happen in the ring with the fight. And I said, if Spence lunges, he gets countered, he's going to be in trouble. He lunged, he got countered hard. He got knocked down with a right jab. They said, how did he get knocked down by a jab? He's a world-class fighter. Listen, Terrence Crawford is a right-hander. He broke his wrist, so he fights more left-handed, broke his right wrist. He developed a really powerful left hand, but he's still right-handed. So that right jab is really a right cross. And he out jabbed the jabber. What he did, him and his team, BMAC, did a terrific job of scouting. They knew that Spence led off his jab, and that was his powerful weapon to lead to the body attacks. So he timed him. And he's a basic 1-2 fighter, Spence. He's not super imaginative, but his strength is his ability to come after you with relentless pressure. So he's going to apply relentless pressure. He's getting countered. Crawford's countering the heck out of him. Right cross, left cross. A lot of good right crosses, though. He was really tearing Spence up. And actually, Spence and BMAC said this in an interview. Spence, because he was taller, but he lowered his height the way he lunged in, so he doesn't use his height advantage. And Crawford and his team knew that. So that gave Crawford even more of an advantage. And once Crawford, like I said, when Crawford figures you out, and I'm going to have Popi Rolon on to really break this down because he's been in the ring. I can tell you what's going on by covering fights for years, but I haven't been in the ring. So I'm very interested to see what he says because he's been in these big fights. But from what I saw, it seemed like it was just the speed aspect was huge. Crawford was quicker and Crawford was more stronger. I'm gonna tell you something else that Crawford did, and everybody talking about what he did to Spence. I tore his eyes up and all that stuff. Crawford's defense, it wasn't in the head movement as much as his defense against the body attack. Crawford and Mayweather are two of the best balanced boxers as far as keeping their balance. So it's hard to really, you could sting them with shots, but it's hard to put them down because they're perfectly balanced all the time. And they process and they could see their eyes. I interviewed Shakur Stevenson's trainer, and we talked about the vision. His vision was fantastic. And what he did, which was underrated and not a lot of people are talking about, he used his right elbow to fend off Spence, to get inside, to fend off Spence, smother Spence's punches, move him away the elbow, set up that hard left. Now, and it got to the point after round 4, Spence is backing up. Spence is an attacker. He's a predator. He's backing up. It's like getting a lion to back up. Now you're in complete cruise control. And people said Crawford could have got him out and he wanted to punish him. I don't think he wanted to punish him because he disliked Spence. I think it was about Charlo. And because he was talking to Charlo in the stance, he really doesn't like Charlo. I think he respects Spence. But he punished Spence because of Charlo. Because he's like, you're next. And he meant that. And he beat him up and finished him off. I'm glad they stopped it, 9th round. Here are some issues with Spence. Here's what I'll say. I'll go Spence first. Here's some issues with Spence. I was 50-50 until the weigh-in because me and Popi Rolon were at the press conference a month ago. I saw how big Spence was, and I just commented, this guy is really big. He's got to bring this weight down. How is he going to do that? And Crawford was pretty big, but he kind of was comfortable at that weight, and he's been comfortable at that weight. That's another thing that makes him great as a welterweight. He grew into that weight. But I saw the weigh-in, and yeah, he showed how much shape he was. He looked weak. I've seen a lot of guys drop that weight and they get beat. When I saw the weigh-in and I saw how much weight Spence lost, there wasn't a scintilla of doubt in my mind Crawford's going to win. I know he's going to win like this, but I said Crawford's going to win. They come in the ring and it looked like Spence was groggy. I'm thinking, wow, he's awfully groggy for a big kind of fight. And it was just a mismatch altogether, even in rapper. I don't know who that fat dude was that was showing off his belly. He was terrible, so I don't even want to mention his name. But he brought in Eminem, a very good rapper, Crawford. So it just, you could tell. And Crawford was ready. It was just, he wasn't ready. Spence got to move up to 154. I have a lot of concerns because he had his orbital bone messed up in a car accident and his eyes were puffed up really bad. He got beat really, really bad. I'm slightly concerned how bad he took the punches. Every punch he just shook him. Now, Spence, he wasn't one that just retreat and get in survival. Spence was trying. He was going for it. Even as he's getting beat, Spence was going for it. I respect that. And even Crawford respected it. He was trying, but he's trying with his offensive arsenal, and it didn't match up to what the superior instincts of Crawford, some of the best instincts you'll ever see in boxing. And for Spence, he's going to move up to 154. I don't know if it makes a difference. Crawford could have just said, I don't want to do the rematch. Crawford said, we'll do the rematch. Crawford's a gamer. So Crawford's going to be like, I'll fight you. And he doesn't have to. A lot of people say, why make this fight? Crawford said, I'll do it again, beat you up, and move to Charlo. I think it's going to be, I wonder how Charlo's going to be by the time he gets to Crawford. I think Crawford gets both of them. I don't know if he stops Charlo because that's a higher weight, but I think he gets Spence and then turns around and gets Crawford. And if I'm Boots Ennis, who wants to fight him, I'm moving up. I'm fighting Keith Thurman first. I want to see Keith Thurman in Boots. And he wins that. Okay, you want Crawford, you move up to 154 and sit there and take on whoever you got to take on and make sure that you keep winning, and then your resume's up, and then we get Boots and Crawford at 154. I'm cool with that. And one more thing about Crawford, he's the best pound for pound in the world. Naomi is really good. He doesn't have the resume, Crawford, and a lot of the fighters who are in the top 10, but he did beat Fulton, moved up. He may have to move up higher. He's so good. He might have to move up to a weight that he might not even be used to get the bigger fights. He's going to crush everybody in that weight. But Crawford beat a really, really great fighter, and Naomi's beaten good fighters, a washed up Nonito Doneri, but he's so special that I will put him at 2. But Crawford is clearly the pound for pound. He's the best fighter on the planet right now. Tyson Fury wants to play keep away with the heavyweight title. I do not respect that. You want to fight a UFC fighter, you got Usyk, you got Joshua. If Joshua and Wilder fight, you need to fight the winner of that. Or Ruiz, Wilder, Joshua. Fight. Don't fight any more Dylan Whites. Stop fighting B-minus fights. Fight what's left. If you want to beat Usyk and Joshua, then retire. I'm okay with that, but you're not fighting those guys. They were trying to get that fight done. Eddie Hearn has underwhelmed me. I thought he would get this fight done. He didn't. I'm not putting Fury. He beats up the UFC fighter. I don't care about that. But, and this is Tell Truth Sports Radio, so I tell the truth. But Crawford's number one. And this is one thing that would bothers me a little. I don't hear this. He's not marketable. He is the most exciting fighter in the world. He just beat up one of the best fighters. It was he's exciting. Madison Avenue should jump all over him and market him. He should be in all types of commercials. And this is where I got some issues. I'm never one to cry racism unless it's sitting in my face, and I'm gonna say something about it because that's how I speak, and I'm not political at all. And I don't cry racism a lot unless it really is. And I just believe that boxing can be a little prejudiced because you see Canelo, you see any other fighter that's a little lighter skinned, you'll see those top ranks, and you'll see a lot of the other companies go gaga. Madison Avenue, all the commercials that Pacquiao and Canelo, they won, it was cool, but they haven't really went out their way to take care of from a Madison Avenue marketing standpoint of a fighter since Tyson and Sugar Ray Leonard. It was different then. Boxing was, they just promoted whoever was great. It didn't matter what color, creed. And Sugar Ray Leonard did the 7-Up commercials. You saw Tyson and Robin Gibbons in the Pepsi commercials. You saw that. Terrence Crawford deserves that. Put away your little racial issues. I know you were wishing that maybe Ryan Garcia could have beat Tank. And if that would have happened, he'd be on every talk show. He'd be on The View. He'd be on everywhere. But Tank won. So Tank is not marketable. That's code. So I got some serious. This guy is one of the best generational type fighters. Give him his props. And I want to see him promoted from advertising standpoint the next couple of weeks into the months. If not, I'm going to bring this up because I've had an issue for years and I've just kind of, wait my turn to see if it would be correct, and it hasn't. And they're really still trying to push Canelo pound for pound. He got beat by Bivol. He was shaky his last fight. He was really great. This Canelo, I can see Charlo pulling off the upset. And Canelo's kind of on the other side. But right now, the man is Terrence Crawford all day long. Popi Rolon was in Las Vegas, and he was able to get the pre-fight interviews with Zab Judah and Antonio Tarver, who correctly predicted the fight. And also after the fight, he had Kevin Kelly and he had Harvey Dock, who I've known since he was the Golden Gloves fighter in the 90s. So he did a good job of that. He got the referee who was stopped the fight. He was the referee of Crawford Spence. So we got exclusive for him. So we're moving up. As far as our show is concerned, we got a lot of big stuff planned, but he did a really good job. And here are the interviews.
My prediction is, and I don't know nothing, I just got an opinion. I like Crawford under 8, and I like Earl over 8. Everybody's saying if you go past 8, you're going to lead to a state. So what do you think? Knockout? Decision? Easy fight? Spence more knockout could be controversial if it go 12. But if it's Bud Crawford, it's going to be under 8. It won't last. the Dirty Popi Rolon. Here I am with Zab Judah, one of the toughest fighters out of New York City. We had to fight some more in Vegas. Zab, what do you think about Spencer Crawford? What you got and why?
This is the best fight of the decade that we got right now, and I think it's gonna be phenomenal. I don't know who to pick right now, so I'm here at the weigh-in, try to see who looking like the champ.
Right. You know what I mean? What do you think? What do you think pros and cons?
I'm just like you. What you mean? Listen, if I knew, I'd be at the window right now.
This guy can with this fight. When you get fighters that can't make a decision of this type of fight, it must be an outstanding fight. Here he is, the former world champion, Zab Judah, out of New York.
And get it right 6 times.
Get it right. Zab Judah out of New York. Yo, Zab, this is beginning an amateur show, September 2nd. I would love to have you there in New Jersey, right?
I live in New York. I know. I live in California.
Are you in California? Man, go too bad, man. Next time.
Good luck with that.
This is Dirty Popi Rolon. Here I am with world-renowned referee Harvey Dock out of Newark, New Jersey. Harvey Dock, I'm a pleasure, man, to grow up and get to know you and to be so proud of you reaching to the level you are. You are just refereed last night one of the biggest fights in history. How did you get to that point, man, to be even chosen for that type of position?
I was chosen by the Nevada Athletic Commission. I've been licensed with them very recently. I did my first match here in May. May 13th, Kenneth Sims, and then May 20th, I was back for Lomachenko. So this is just my 3rd time here, so I'm still new to the Vegas scene. You know, my roots, as you know, real deep in Jersey, you know, so this is all new to me.
What did it feel like to get that call? Like, wow, hey, we need you have been chosen to referee Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence. What did that even feel like?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's not even a call because I didn't know until midweek when somebody sent me a article in one of the from the boxing websites, and then I read it. I didn't know it. I never got a call. So. But it felt
found out reading in the book.
Yeah, somebody sent it to me.
Was you nervous? Was it like, did you get butterflies in your stomach? You know, that gotta be a big move to make on that position.
Well, I'll be honest, not too nervous. You know, the way I approach it is like I approach all the fights. It's just another fight, if that makes any sense. You know, it's just like you have to do a job, and if it's a big fight or a club show, you have to have the same focus. So I didn't really consider it big for my assignment because I still have to do the same job.
Well, you know, we met before and we talked about the position that referee has to have and how you have to control being favoritism and control, you know, leaning towards one side. Was that challenging? You had Crawford and Spence, you know, do you think one would be better than the other, or do you think to maintain, you know, minded and not even care about it and doing a professional job?
Yeah, that's the key. Just staying neutral and professional without even giving a second thought to who's who, not giving a thought to any expectations. You just go in there and perform the job as it presents itself to you.
So in the second round, when Spence dropped, when Crawford dropped Spence, did he feel that he was really hurt? He wasn't in the stopping mode?
No. In the second round, when he got dropped, I knew he was fine. He got right up. You know, if a fighter's really hurt, just speaking from a referee's perspective, if he's really hurt, I might make him walk, you know, to one side or the other. But in that case, you may have noticed, I just let him continue. Because it was more, I thought, a balanced thing. I mean, he got hit, but I didn't think he was hurt.
Yeah, I thought that at the beginning, but then looking at it, said, well, because later on you did, the referee, you warned him about hitting low a couple of times.
Right.
You know, and one of the guys that was in the crowd watching while I was like, you were giving him time to get better. I said, no, not Harvey Dock. He's not doing that. But and like you said, you told him to walk to the side. Did see that later on in the second. At what point did you feel like, this guy, like you were looking around to see if he was getting ready to stop it? So at what point did you say, you know what, let me start seeing if he's getting ready to stop it or not?
Yeah, I think it was after the 5th round, he was, the punishment was starting to escalate. So I think it was after the 5th round, I went to the corner and I had the doctor come up and take a look at him just to make sure that he was okay. The doctor said he was okay, and then I believe after the 7th round, I had the doctor come take another look at him just to make sure he was okay, because, like I said, the punishment was starting to increase, and my concern was getting a little bit higher as the rounds went on.
Was it a little difficult because he kept throwing punches back?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the trickier parts of being a referee is knowing when to pull the plug, and balancing how much punishment they're taking compared to how much they're fighting back. So yeah, that's a tricky equation for us.
Well, I'm gonna let you know, bro. I think you did an outstanding job. I was very, very pleased to knowing you, growing up with you, and to see how well you were doing in the boxing game. It's a privilege. Now, I really hope that more referees get to learn from you. Here I am, Popi Rolon, with the outstanding, world-renowned referee, Harvey Dock.
Thank you.
This is Popi Rolon. Here I am with the two-time featherweight champion of the world, the Flushing Flash, Kevin Kelly. Flushing Flash, Kevin Kelly. This is a long-time friend of mine since the amateurs, and I couldn't come to Vegas without sitting down talking to him. I wanted to get his outlook on the big fight that we thought was going to be a big fight between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. What do you think about that, Kev, man? What do you think about the fight, man?
Great fight. Fights like that need to happen, okay? It was more than I expected. I never not expected Crawford to blow him out. That was wow. I mean, Crawford's on another level. Realistically, I also thought that Spence, looked a little bit lethargic in that fight.
Yeah, he did look a little bit
off balance,
like
stuff like that.
His balance wasn't good.
I think I picked Crawford anyway in the beginning. He was a favorite. I couldn't make no money off of Crawford, so next time I'll be the underdog, right? So I can bet some money. I thought that, like I said, Spence I think he struggled at 47. I think he needs to go up and wait and take a break and get some MRIs and some CAT scans.
I don't think it should be a rematch. But what do you think about the boxing world? Do you think the hype with the fight was too much and that the fight didn't live up to the expectations? Or do you think that the fight, do they blow it up like that to make it look like it's going to be so competitive? Because Terrence Crawford made it look like it wasn't even
it was easy. But like he said it himself. I kept telling you guys, right? He said it 50,000 times. It wasn't going to be competitive. He said it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to blow you out the water. I'm going fishing. He came out with Eminem. He killed Eminem on the entrance first.
Oh, I love that song, right? Too, bro. That was
and second, move. I don't know who the heavyset guy with Spence was. He's a local rapper or something.
Yeah,
I thought just in the intro, Crawford beat him. Just on the intro. Right? So think about it. He should have used Slim Thug or somebody we know.
You think it'd be interesting? Would you want to see a rematch?
No.
Me neither.
When you get blown out like that, you never will see it. See, it's the difference. It's like seeing, I think it'd be more interesting watching Canelo fight Bivol again. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I don't think, Canelo should fight Bivol, right?
Okay.
Because when you get blown out, you get blown out. Okay?
Yeah. He made it where
it's hard to sell somebody. If I blow you out, it's like my fight. I'll give you an example. I fought Derek Gainer the first time, right? I knocked him out in the 8th round. It was a competitive fight, a little bit back and forth. But being I knocked him out, okay, then people don't want to see the rematch so much.
I went to New York about a month ago. We had an amateur boxing reunion out there, and I had interviewed Michael Lodgeday, and he had said something to the fact that he didn't think that Spence ever recovered from the car accident. That he had some. He said they're not letting us know, but he don't believe that he didn't have some injuries that they're not telling us about. And that's what I thought about when I saw that fight. Like, damn, Michael Lodgeday might have been right about that.
He was right. Because if you look at real closely, when I was watching a fight in the house, I was looking at Spencer's movements. Right. And his blinking was a little slow. Right. His verbiage looked a little bit, so we all know with boxing.
Exactly.
So we start seeing these signs of the damage that boxing does to you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God, knock on wood, God is great, right? But at the end of the day, you want to come out of this game with everything intact.
Exactly.
But it's very hard because we put it all on the line. It's a risky sport. It's a dangerous sport. It's not the most dangerous though. Football's worse. But at the end of the day, you want to be a kind of fighter where hopefully the damage that happens to you is not forever.
Not forever, absolutely. And that,
Yeah, but like I said, I move him up.
I agree with everything you said because I was saying to myself, and my next question was leading right from what you're saying. I was going to say, you think you should ever fight again? Because he didn't look to me like.
Yeah, he looked at. See,
He didn't look like.
what showed me some things that I didn't like was wide punching. He was punching wide.
Yeah, he throwing and no straight punches.
Way on the
I was saying
outside,
the same thing.
and it looked like he was struggling. You know, trying to do the jab. The jab wasn't strong. It was weak jab. I think I would get an MRI and a CAT scan. I'll get those things, and he got to move on because he even said he had weight problems. Even Crawford said he had weight. Crawford said he had weight problems.
Yeah, me and a good friend of mine, Salim, he said that he looked like he hydrated.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
It's understandable.
He look weak. He look weak.
He's a bigger guy, and like I said, for Spence is a restart button. You know, he get a chance. What I like about it for him is the pressure's gone.
Yeah.
So when you're undefeated, like me, I understand it because I was undefeated forever. You know what I'm saying? I get a title and beat everybody, and then you kind of run into a wall.
Pressure's gone. I like that.
Right? And when you lose, I lost my first fight. The pressure's off your back. You're like, now you can do what you want to do.
How many fights did you lose?
I got 60 wins, 10 losses.
No, before you lost your first fight, what was
41.
41. You was 40.
41 and up.
41 and 0. You
Yep.
lost your 42nd fight.
Yep.
Wow.
And then I fought Prince at my 47th fight. So I was 47 and 1 when I fought him. So like I said,
that was a double two southpaws, wasn't it?
Yeah, two southpaws.
That was two southpaws.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
why I would show, for TV purposes, I should have commentated that Errol Spence fight, guys.
Yeah, two southpaws, that would have been good.
Me and Gainer, me and Dorsey, me and Harold Warren.
Oh,
all southpaws.
Listen, I want to thank you, bro. I love you. I appreciate you coming here to see me, man. I appreciate you, man.
This is a bad welterweight, man.
This is Flushing Flash Kevin Kelly, man. My
Popi
brother
Rolon
was
was amazing welterweight.
Listen, we heard it post-fight of Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Kevin Flushing Flash Kelly put it on the line. Let us know what it was about. Y'all take care. Peace.
Computer. Okay, I got you. All right, we got Popi Rolon. What's going on, buddy? You did a great job in Las Vegas.
Man, it was an exciting time out in Las Vegas, man. I got to see a whole lot of friends I haven't seen in a while and catching up and just sharing some time with guys from my past, man. It was a wonderful experience.
Now, I'm going to talk about the fight, and then I'm going to hear from your perspective as a boxer. I broke it down on my open, but I thought when we both saw Crawford and Spence at the press conference, I saw, and I slightly favored Crawford, late, close fight. I saw the weigh-in. I saw Spence take his shirt off. I saw all that weight loss. Every fiber in my bone said, I know Crawford's going to win this fight. But when I saw the weigh-in, I said, Crawford's going to win this one with no problem. I didn't like all that weight Spence lost, but I want to give Crawford credit because he was flawless. But that really sent nervous waves to me when I saw that. What do you think?
Well, you saw Crawford and felt a little different. I mean, you saw Spence and felt a little way. I saw Spence. So I get him so mixed up the name. I saw Crawford at the weigh-ins, and I was like, wow, he really has gotten bigger.
Mm-hmm.
His shoulders and his arms, I was like, wow, Crawford looks like he put the work in. And I almost wanted to go change my bet, Well, I'm going to tell you, man, going into the fight, Spence didn't look good from the start, going inside the round. I'm hearing rumors now that they're saying that he could have been high on drugs or some other things.
Nah, I don't think so.
But I'm going to tell you what I think it really was the problem. And I could be wrong, but I think there's some serious damage that might have happened to Spence in that car accident. There's some doctors saying there may have been some neurological damage. His eyes was looking, and it looked like it to me. He didn't look like himself. His eyes didn't look right.
He looked groggy coming in the ring.
Absolutely, his balance was worse than an amateur just starting off. His feet was off. He wasn't throwing straight punches. He was throwing around punches. I agree with you. I cannot take anything away from Terrence Crawford. He fought an amazing fight, a perfect fight. Everything was sharp. The jab was sharp. The hook was short and thrown correctly. Straight right hands, body shots. His defense was amazing. He slipped shots. Crawford fought a perfect fight. Now, so don't take nothing away from Crawford. He did an outstanding job. But Spence, to me, I remember, like I said, when I was interviewing Kevin Kelly, when I interviewed with Michael Olajide in New York, and Michael Olajide told me that he thinks Spence may have some permanent damage, and they're not telling us about it. You know, at the time when he said that, I didn't thought nothing of it. I just thought maybe he just, I don't know where he got that from. However, I think he was on point with that. I think Michael Olajide was on point when he said a car accident like that will be difficult to get out of that accident without any permanent damage. And I saw a doctor interview today, and he also clarified just the way he looked like he had some neurological damage, permanently neurological damage, the way his eyes looked and the way he was moving. It appeared like that to me, man. I don't really, like I said, I can't take anything away from Crawford. But Spence did not look like the Spence we saw prior to the accident.
I kind of hope they go through every neurological test to make sure he's okay, to make sure he can get in the ring and fight if he wants to do the rematch or move up to 154. But one thing that I did like what Crawford did, his defense was as good as his offense, because to protect the body shots, he used his elbow to kind of fend off Spence and give himself room, then throw the shots. And then when Spence, remember we talked about lunging in? Remember you showed the example in your gym that Spence had a tendency to lunge in and he better not get countered? He did that when he got a little desperate after he got knocked down with a jab. And then Crawford caught him a lot coming in like that. After a while, he started backing away.
It wasn't a jab he got hit with. He got caught with Crawford as a right-handed, but he was southpaw. And he threw like a little hook off the jab. And so it was like the jab hook. I showed you that in the play with the jab and then turn it into a hook. Because the hook looks like a double jab, but it's not. It's like bang, and then you turn it, boom. And it's just not wide. Everything was short. Like I said, again, I keep repeating myself, Crawford fought a perfect fight. But I must say to you, neurological tests and all the things.
Oh yes.
I don't think that Spence. I don't think he's going to be able to get cleared. I don't think the way he looked, the way his eyes look, I don't think he'll be clear for a rematch unless they're covering up something. And like Michael Olajide said, he believed they was covering something this fight. I mean, I know if that would have been any one of us, we would have probably covered it up to get paid millions and millions of dollars. That could probably, at least we get millions and millions of dollars than to not fight and not get anything.
Yeah, but listen, I don't want to see no rematch if that's the case. I want him 100%, 110% clear, because I don't want to be thinking about that in a rematch. I don't want him getting hurt like that.
I agree 100%. That's why I'm saying that. I don't think he should go back in there, at least not with Crawford, right back. Like, you know, there was a fight years ago. I think it was Terry Norris and what was this guy? Simon Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Simon Brown, he beat Terry Norris so bad the first fight.
Yes.
That I said that there was no way a fighter can come back from that. But Terry Norris changed my perspective of that, came back and knocked out Simon Brown.
But he made adjustments. I saw both fights.
And I was like, well, wow, I thought that after being knocked out like that, he could never come back from that. And he proved me wrong on that. This one, I don't think that Errol Spence can prove me wrong. It will be very, very difficult, almost impossible to come back from a beating like that and beat Terence Crawford.
Let me ask you something. I should have known this, but I have to double check. Which twin is fighting Canelo? The junior middle or the middle?
I think it's the middleweight.
Okay, so Charlo, the junior, Jamel, I think he's a junior. Crawford is going to fight. If he doesn't get, if Smith doesn't get cleared, that's next fight. They don't like each other. Crawford's going to move up. That's his challenge. I'm looking forward to that. I know Kasazu's in the mix, but I think they're going to do that. And if Boots Ennis wants to fight Crawford, I think Boots is going to have to move up too. And then we're going to have those fights. What do you think about that?
Well, I like Ennis. I think that he is on the way. Thank you. Have a good night. I think he's on his way. I think he's on his way to being on that level with Crawford. I'm not sure he's there yet, but I think shortly, prove a few more fights, maybe a little more.
Yeah, say for instance, Boots fights Keith Thurman. That's the fight I want to see, and then whoever wins that, it could fight up at 154. And then we'll have our matchup. I do. You're right. He needs a really good fighter to test him, and then we'll see.
Yeah, I would like to see him fight a few more fights before he comes in with a guy like Crawford. He's kind of made a believer out of me.
Oh yeah.
I kind of thought he was hyped. I kind of thought he was just talk, but he moved so good. He slipped. He blocked. He did an amazing job with Earl Spence, and even if Earl Spence was at his best that night, I don't think he could have beat.
No,
Crawford.
Crawford and Charlo. Crawford's could outbox him, but it would be a challenge because Charlo, that's his natural weight. And Crawford grew into being a welterweight, and he got adjusted and he got better because he would, that was his weight. He would move up, but Crawford don't care. He'll move up and fight Charlo. But what did you think happened then? I don't know if we lost him or not. Man, and Popi Rolon, so good. I just like listening to him talk about boxing. Hopefully we get him.
Fight.
I know he.
Okay,
there he goes.
Crawford. Right now, there's nobody out there to really challenge Crawford.
No, I agree.
To make it even that exciting, unless it was unless, like I said, Ennis got a couple more.
Yeah, that's the only. If Ennis has some spectacular outings and Crawford beats Charlo, Ennis will probably go to 154, and then we got our second mega fight, which is great. Now, before I let you go, did you ever have a Crawford moment where you fought a dude and it was flawless and you were in such a zone, you just annihilated the dude? It's a big matchup, and everything you did was right. Give me that fight.
I fought a guy named Lewis Howard. Lewis Howard was a good welterweight fighter. He had lost to Mark Breed in the Olympic trials. He had a much higher, more experience than me. He was more mature than me, older than me. And a lot of people were saying that my manager was rushing me by taking this fight. It was like a 15-1 underdog against Lewis Howard. Lewis Howard was 6 pounds overweight. I didn't have to fight, and I was going to still get paid. And I took the fight anyway because I had a lot of people traveling down to Atlantic City to see me fight. I didn't want to let the people down. So I fought Lewis Howard. Nobody thought I could beat him. Nobody thought that I should have ever been in the ring with Lewis Howard. And I stopped him in the 3rd round easily. It was so easily that they couldn't believe that I could beat him like that. They immediately ranked me number 9 in the welterweight at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a hard fight. If you ever get a chance to see that on YouTube, it was Lewis Howard and Derek Rolon. That was only 3 rounds, but nobody thought I could beat that fight. Even the announcers were so shocked. But I was just so focused. I was in shape. I was in tip-top shape. And even though he was a hard puncher, he caught me with some good shots. Nobody knew how hard he hit it that night but me. but I just kept coming.
and I was refused to lose. And I stopped him in the third round. And it was just shocking to everyone, my manager, my father, like everybody could not believe that I would win that fight that easily like that. And I think that was probably a Crawford moment as the welterweight where he got in there and won a fight where nobody could think he could win it that easy. But the music he came out with, the look on his face, I love that song he came out with Eminem.
I loved how he came out. I hated how Crawford came out. Big old guy with the belly. It was rapping terrible. His eyes were glazed. I really knew he was going to win the fight when that happened. Poppy, I gotta let you go. You're going to do great. You're going to really, your podcast coming up, I know you're working on that. You're going to do a great job. You're going to be on my show. We're going to try to do the Charlo Canelo fight. We're working on that. Hopefully we're going to really go next level, and you're going to go next level. So I greatly appreciate that. You did a really good job in Vegas, and you're going to see on this show when we put on YouTube how good a job you did.
All right. Just send me everything so I can kind of view it, and I'll appreciate you, Ron, for everything.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right.